you don't have to lift up your mug, okay?
I'm going to lift up my mug because I love these people.
Anyway, hello, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's the 6th of November, and we are here, and we're going to try to inspire, lift up, listen, all the good things. Actually, we're going to talk about this amazing company and the amazing people in it. I had said many things in the last few months about looking forward, walk who you want to be and all that. And Nino wrote it down. And I went, wow, that kind of covers what I've been trying to say. I'm not a very good writer, so I took what she said and I made a video out of it because I think how strong it is of who you see in the mirror. Anyway, I'm going to play it. It's not very long, but I hope you enjoy it.
Let us see not just who we are, but who we are becoming. By walking with purpose, we bring to life the person we aspire to be. When we speak with intention and confidence, we reflect the qualities we most admire. And by grounding ourselves in integrity and character, we nurture the values we wish to embody. Each small step, each day, brings us closer to who we are meant to be. Through these simple but profound actions, we transform from within, moving steadily toward our true potential. Thank you, Marty DeGarmo.
Thank you, everybody, for watching, except Chris, because he was talking to people on the phone, but that's okay. Anyway, yeah.
Wait a minute. Collins was texting me because he was saying funny things. As he said, "You're late, just like the Africans," he said to me.
Yeah, because they're always late. Trust me. And I was like annoyed. I said, "Well, I can't be annoyed. I'm late too." I do want to tell you though, when I'm late, no excuse, but I'm working from when I get up until I get on, and sometimes the time doesn't add up. And I wanted to get that video on before I started. Cool things, couple updates. I mean, not updates, but reminders. Ash did say within a couple of weeks we'll be able to do what we need to do in the back office of OES. OES is a holding station or a place to be for information. As you can see, it's pretty much stripped of most things, which is great because we're not staying here. We're going there, okay? And where there is going to change our lives. The reason I emphasize so much on self is because that changed my life. I didn't have a lot of confidence when I was younger. In fact, if you could do -0, I don't know what that is. I mean, yeah, it's funny, we had good time, but I just kind of no confidence in myself. Went through school. I can't even tell you one teacher I had. I didn't like it there. School to me was just I hated it. I did go out for track one year. That was fun, but that was the only fun of school. The rest of school, I didn't like it. I wasn't really, I don't know, just felt kind of a square in a round hole. Okay, it just didn't fit right. But reality set in because whatever you think or you don't think, life's going to move on and time's going to move on. And that's what happened to me. I got out of, I always worked. I worked since I was 16. I was in a machine shop. In fact, I worked a half a day, went to school half a day. They had a special program called Cooperative Industrial Education. And I was so fortunate they let me get into that because I already had a job at 16. And I said, is there any way? And there was a special program. I think they don't have it anymore. But so I worked in the morning. I didn't go to school until noon. And at noon, I went to school only for about 3 hours. Basic stuff you have to have. But I learned how to be a machinist. I ran a lathe. I ran a Bridgeport, and I got pretty good at it. I was a young guy, and that educated me more than education. Um, but anyway, all said and done, 18 comes along, and I'm an adult. So there's no more school, and I'm thinking, well, thank God, I thought. Now I get out of school, and all I got to do is work. That wasn't a whole lot of fun. So I left there, and I got a job with my brother. My brother David, he passed away in '98, and it was a good job. It was a really good paying job. Not auto industry pay, but pretty good. Okay, and better than average, much better than average. So I went there, and I started off on the midnight shift, and it was the 19th of January, 1979. Weird that I remember that. Anyway, so I worked that ship. I worked that ship forever. And like you guys know, you heard my story. Then I had to do exactly what the video that I just made. I had to let go of who I see in the mirror at the time. And I looked at people that had what I wanted, not what they did, not so much who they were, but how they accomplished to get where they were. So I said, well, how would I get in those shoes? And I knew it was, I can remember it vividly. Well, you have to believe you can. And that was a struggle. Tell yourself, okay, I go from welcome back Cotter to I'm gonna be a lead person in this big company. And they said, yeah, you could do it, but you got to learn how to weld. You have to know the system. And the system was 200,000 gallons of copper solution and sulfate and certain temperatures and additives you had to do because we're an electro depositing company. We made copper foil. So I learned it. And I said, well, so I got to learn how to weld, which I could weld, but I wouldn't call it welding. And they said, yeah. So I learned how to weld. I said, I want to train to be, and they said, okay, we'll put you with a lead person. So I followed this guy around. I looked at the whole city. It was overwhelming. But I kept saying, I got to do it. Why? At the time, my drive was, I need to make more money. My dad just gave me some nature freaking course back in the backyard on a picnic table, which was, hey, Marty, yeah, I got a story to tell you. All right. So I went back there, and he's sitting down. He's about Chris's size, but everybody feared him. And he went, you ever watch National Geographic? So I'm going, yeah. Because you know on there where you'll see like maybe robins and they make a nest? Yeah. And then they have babies. Yeah, I'm like 4 of them. I'm like adding to it now. I'm adding to this story like some kind of donkey. And he goes, and they sit on the eggs about 17 days. They hatch. And within a month, they got pin feathers. They got feathers there. They can flap their wings. And eventually they stand on the edge of that nest. And I'm like really into this now. Like, where the frick is this going? And he goes, and then if they don't jump off, they kind of get too big for the nest and they get nudged out and they fly. And I went, yeah. He said, you got till Friday. And I went, what do you mean? You got till Friday to move out. That was my life. So I moved into an apartment. I didn't think that was a very inspiring freaking story at the time. But my father saw in me that I could do it. But I refused to look at my reflection in the mirror and see who I am. I knew I didn't like, I'm not talking about physical. I'm talking about where I could be, what I should be doing. Because I didn't go to college or whatever. And that helped me looking back. At the time, I wanted to punch him in the nose. because it wasn't funny. I was making really good money, by the way. That's what he was upset over. I'm making good money. I'm just blowing it every day. Whatever I made, I blew. At the end of the week, I didn't have any bills. I didn't have any money either. I was just buying for everybody. I thought I was some kind of Howard Hughes or something. But anyway, through life, I would tell myself, because I had to now. Now I'm out. I'm on my own, paying rent, paid for a car, got a brand new car, young guy, making payments. And that money I got left now, weep. I mean, weep. And I thought, wait a minute, this isn't adding up. So I had to advance in the business to make enough money to live a little better. And I didn't want to keep working overtime. I worked overtime all the time too, not as much as Chris, but I worked a lot. I said, wait, I got to do something. If I'm trading my time for money, I'm going to find a way to make more money during my time instead of adding more time at the break. So, like I said, I saw lead man. I got it. A month after I was there, they promoted me to lead man. They moved me to another shift. And guess what? I got 20 cents more an hour. Oh, and $1 on Sunday an hour, $8, whatever. So that went on, and then I meet this lady, this young girl, little girl. That sounds like a pedophile. I met my future wife. By the way, she was 15. Anyway, as I lifted her out of the crib, no, I'm just kidding. So my brother introduced me to her, and we're moving on, and in 1920, 1980, we got married. I was 20 years old. So we get married. We had to get a bigger place. Well, we moved into the apartment. The apartment I got, when my dad kicked me out, I had to kick my friend out. You got to go. Why? Because I'm getting married. What? You're getting married? Yeah. So anyway, I got kicked him out, and we got married and lived in the same apartment. I remember it was $250 a month. So we did that. 2 years later, we had our first child. I was 22. Dawn was 19. Yeah. And now you have a child. You need more money. This one thing wasn't working. This whole time I'm going, okay, this worked before. Let me keep pushing myself. I go to the supervisor that's on, and I said, because he was in the union too, like me. But when he became supervisor, you could do it just through your knowledge of the company. Now, at the time I asked him, you have to have a college degree. So, and remember, school was like kryptonite to me, right? I get weak. I start throwing up when I think about it. Anyway, I said, did you make more money? I don't need to know how much, being a supervisor than you did, let's say, you worked 8 hours overtime. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. I want to be a supervisor. And he looked at me like this. You're Jethro Bodine, man. With the no, he didn't say that. But I said, what I got to do? Oh, now you have to have a college. I thought at the time, and the reason I'm saying all this is because this is what I believe in everybody, or I wouldn't say it. A lot of you have done this. He said, you have to have a college degree. And I said, you know what I think they really want? It's knowledge. I'll learn this system like nobody else in the company. That was my drive. So I would go through, I'm looking at all the pumps. I could change a pump. I was doing, and I had to be careful because like Chris, the union would be mad at me because I would do stuff I wasn't really supposed to do, but I would, I also looked at trying to save time. I believe in doing the best you can at whatever you do. So I was good at what I did, no doubt about it. And no other lead man knew the stuff I learned, but I drove myself because I kept looking in the mirror and I said, you're not good enough yet. I kept looking at where I want to go. I wanted to look in the mirror and see a supervisor, not a lead man. So I looked in the mirror and saw a lead man. I kept looking. I said, holy cow, there's a supervisor there. Because I drove myself to believe that. And it happened. You push yourself to be who you want to be. Now, the vehicle was becoming hard because they're telling me, no, you have to learn the manual transmission in this life. But anyway, I did it. And they called me in for an interview. Now I'm going from union to company. And I went in the room, and it was the plant manager, production manager, plant manager, and my supervisor. And they said, there's an opening. I'll tell you exactly what happened. They had a sign-up thing, who would like to be supervised, and I refused to sign it. Really. Because I thought that should happen from what you did, not who you know. I hated that. So I went in, and they said, look, we're getting a list of people that like to be in supervision, and you didn't sign it. I said, yeah, I won't. And if I have to, I don't want to. Would you want to be a supervisor? And I go, only if you believe I'm good enough to be. Well, absolutely. You know more than anybody on the list. Okay. So what do we do from here? You're not going to sign it? No. I believe it should be from your character and what you do and how you walk and they said, okay, would you like to be supervisor on D shift? And I went, yeah, we need you to start right away because Kenny Joy retired and he's leaving. Well, I said, what do you mean by right away? Next week. I said, I can't. I'm going on vacation to see my grandmother. That's when I talked to my grandmother about watch how she eats at 102 years old. Dumbass. So he said, I said, I can come back August 1st. Okay. So they gave me the job, gave me a big raise to me. And this is starting to make up for being married, and I got a daughter. I come back August 1st, 1984. I remember that. You remember things that like when you're building you. So I did that, and then I became supervisor, and I worked on swing shift, missed a lot of birthdays and whatever. And then a couple of years later, I had another daughter, Ashley. She's the mother of the children that we're raising now. And during this time, prices of things are going up. Car breaks down, and I got to go find parts for it. I had to work on all the stuff that broke down. I couldn't afford to have it fixed. I did brakes. I did water pumps. I did. Chris knows what I'm talking about. A lot of you do. I realized I need to bring in more income. It was 1985, and I really didn't know what to do. So we had a manager of each department, which is a head of 5 supervisors each, and they ran the whole company on their shift. So I went to him, nice guy, kind of a grumpy dude. I became pretty good friends with him because I was supervisor. He was my manager on that shift. And I asked him, I said, can I ask you a question? Yeah. How did you become manager? He goes, well, I've been here 25 years and I've worked my way up, and you got to know this, you got to know that. But now, Marty, you have to have a 4-year college. They're bringing nobody in but college. And what I found out about college at the time is college teaches you to think. Forget all the crap you learn there. It teaches you to think. And I said, crap, I've been going to college for the last 10 years. It just wasn't in a school. So does it pay pretty good? And what he told me was, yeah, it would change my life. Okay, I told myself, I didn't tell him, I want to be a manager. So I'm going to, and I'm advancing here and here and here. And I look in the mirror and I didn't see a manager. But every day I was working and learning more. Now I'm learning way more things. I'm learning the treating department, because he was the one that he had to do it all. And one day I looked in the mirror, and it was like looking through a Coke bottle. It wasn't really clear, but I saw manager Marty. I said, "Holy cow, it's going to happen." I wrote down on a piece of paper, I want to be manager by the time I'm 30 years old. Here's what happened. Within a couple of weeks after that, they got rid of all the managers. And just the supervisors were on shift. And I went, oh, crap. So now what we had was department manager who was on day shift. His name was Bob Harkins. And I said, oh my God, I got a leapfrog. So I went to Bob and I said, he'd been in 5 years, less than me. College graduate, really sharp guy, not very old either. I'm thinking, damn, I got to wait for Bob to die. I'm just kidding. Wow, a little bit. So I said, Bob, what did you have to do to? Oh, I know all the departments. I know shipping. I know this. I know that. I know. And you have to have a 4-year college. Okay. So I swallowed it and said, okay, I just need to get more knowledge. Not going to college. Not. I mean, I'm not putting down school, but I just had to work harder. I had to think more. I had to look in the mirror and do that thing again. Time went on. I would go, because I'm a supervisor, I can go around the whole plant as long as my department's running good. So I went to shipping. I learned how it went. I looked at labeling. I looked at where they go, who's doing what are the restrictions, why are stuff being sent back. I'd go to the treating department. I'd say, hey, what problem are you having from our copper foil coming here? Oh, you guys got this thing with the edge. So I went back, worked on that. This is what I'm not bragging about, man. I'm just telling you, all of us have this. So I still have the same goal. I didn't change my goal. I should have erased it and gave myself a couple more years. I didn't. And a new company bought us, Square D. And that's when Square D owned us. It was an electrical company, big company. I don't even know if they're around anymore. They brought in all new people. This is 86. That's a year later. And they're letting people go and all that. They had this guy come in. I guess they call him they're a chopper. It's what they are. They're like a rototiller. And he went through and he was a cool guy, thank God. He judged people by what they knew and who they were. Some people went up to him and brown nose. I can brown nose. I mean, that's not. I just realized the other day I sent 1,400 emails to ask. I'm brown nosed to freaking here, okay. But anyway, I realized that okay, I'm finally going to get judged to who I am and what's going on. So the manager, the department manager, was let go. I'm like, whoa. I felt bad because I really liked the guy. So I'm working, and they are just eliminating people. I now was the supervisor of 3 departments. They let go of the treater supervisor. They cut us down like nothing. So now I'm on shift for the whole company. Still supervisor, but they just eliminate everybody's job. Chris knows. Got even more tense when the Japanese came in. Well, I love working for the Japanese, by the way. I know people won't want to hear that, but they're really cool people. So sorry I'm talking so long, Chris. I had this thought when I did the video. So in 1990, I was 30 years old. They were looking for a manager, a production manager. What Bob had, department, the whole department, all the supervisors. That's what I want to say. So I get whispers, even from other supervisors. you know, you're in the running. In the running for what? Manager. Oh, really? And I said, oh, really? But inside I'm going, oh, that's just cool. But are they going to make me sign something or go ask for it? I'm not doing it. So the new plant manager was a Richard. Okay, we're on daytime television, all right? He was a real Richard. So they call me up. Everybody's pushing me. This guy doesn't even have a clue what's going on. But I go in and he goes, and he's leaning back in the chair like he's some King Tut or whatever. And that didn't go well with me. So anyway, I wasn't ignorant. I just went in and he goes, hey, a lot of people coming to me saying that you should be the new whatever manager. What do you got to say? And the guy that brought me up is really worried about what's going to come out of my pie hole. And I went, I don't have anything to say. You called me up here. I mean, I want to know what would you like? Ask me something. Why do you want to be the manager? No joke. I never said that. Well, why are they recommended you? I don't know. You have to ask him. Well, you come up really highly recommended. I said, thank you. All right, let me rephrase this. Would you be interested in being the manager? I said, yeah, absolutely. But it depends on, it's a lot of responsibility and depends on the pay. And he said, he didn't like me very much, really. But it's just something about when you're building yourself and you're doing it, integrity matters on coming and going for me. So he said, well, you come highly recommended. You know about the process. I mean, we got scientists in the other lab recommended you and all. I said, okay. So he said, I'm going to give you 10 grand raised a year. For what? To be the manager. Oh, that's not enough. Not for that responsible. I'm not. And you're not paying. You didn't just pay 10 grand more than I'm making when Bob was here. Well, that doesn't matter. It matters to me. I could work overtime one day a week and make 10 grand. And I know when I become that, my time's going to be dwindled down to whenever I'm called off shift because somebody has a problem. If I'm not worth more than that, yeah, you should find somebody else. Anyway, all said and done. All right, I'll get back to you. So we go down the steps. I'm going with the guy. He goes, Marty, you push and push and push with we want. I said, I don't have another chance at this. I'm not going to be able to go back and talk about this. By the end of the day, they called me back up. Okay. After talking with everybody, whatever. They give me 20 grand more a year. Biggest raise I ever got. They gave me the job, and I went from that. And I don't like talking about me, but I'm just giving you an example of how looking in the mirror and believing in yourself. I got the job. And the cool thing about it, I went home, I looked in the mirror, and guess what? I saw a department manager. It happened. And I worked really hard, and then I learned how to really get involved in the process and what we are making. And we started to make a copper foil called 9 micron. It's the foil that you would see in a printer. Remember they used to go back and forth real quick, and they had that little ribbon hooked to the head, those little strands of copper? There's a good chance I had something to do with that foil a long time ago. And it was patented. I was pissed because they didn't put me on the patent because I had a lot to do with making it. I adjusted chemicals and stuff, and we made foil that you could bend, pick up, bend, pick up, bend, pick up, and it wouldn't break. If you do it with regular copper, it will snap. Anyway, time goes on, and the competition around the world is killing us, and now they're downsizing. The president of the company at the time, of course, was my friend, only because I want to know who the main guy. And we had a blast. I mean, He was a multimillionaire. They owned 20 banks here in Burlington County. And he was just a wonderful man. He really was. And of course, the plant manager didn't like the idea. I was friends with him, and whatever. He came down one day and asked us, no, he called us on the meeting, asked us about, we're getting titanium drums now, titanium, $250,000 just the sheet. I learned how to weld on titanium. Okay. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But he listened to me one day. You know, we're having a problem with this and this, and I told him what I thought it was. And everybody in the room gave me that mean look. You shouldn't be talking before this guy and this guy, this guy with this level bull crap. I'm not on your pyramid. I'm on my pyramid, and I'm just giving him my opinion. I'm not expecting anything in return. So I told him. And he said, and then somebody else cut in. He goes, wait. DeGarmo, what are you talking about? So I broke it down for him what I thought would make a difference. And it did. Saved the company hundreds of thousands of dollars. That doesn't matter. But that was from me learning to build myself in that mirror I keep telling you about. Well, a bad thing happened, which in 2000, that president and that guy that I really, really liked, I mean, a lot, he got killed in a plane accident. He was a pilot. And him and his wife and his child were flying to Martha's Vineyard, pretty much the same route as Kennedy, young Kennedy. And they got into fog, so he had to rely on the dashboard. And sometimes you get vertical and you don't know if you're up or you're down or whatever. I know a lot of that. And they crashed and everybody got killed. Went to the funeral and all that. And I said, okay, this company's going to be doomed now because his brother was in charge, but he never into it. So they're going to fold the company. And this is all I knew. And what they decided to do is they wound up building a small team of people to sell technology all over the world. And thank God, because I worked with that idiot in the mirror. When they formed this team out of 500 people, they picked 5 of us, and I got to be one of them. That's why I traveled around the world, met all these different cultures, and finally realized judging a book by its cover is a mistake. So I constantly build into where I am today. And then, of course, you know the story. I tried to kill myself with sleep apnea and lost all that. And I thought, wow. I built all the way up to that, got in the business where I got to meet people around the world, and it folds up. Here comes today. Look where I'm at. I'm happier than I was then, but I just want to let you know, work on you. Things are coming. We have a little bit, the big advantage we have, you're not going to have to fight so hard for the results, but you need to work on you. I need to work on me, Chris, inspire each other. Because the benefits will be in our face. And we need to know, we need to be able to handle the abundance and all of the stuff that are coming our way. And we need to, listen, we need to believe we deserve it. And if we have good intentions and we go out like Mr. Mufara wanted, we're going to change the color of this planet. I know I took a long story, made it longer, but I really wanted to go through what I was talking about. That was my life. That's my true what happened. And I can't talk about looking in the mirror and becoming who you want to be unless I tell you I did it myself, because otherwise I would have no right to explain that to you. I'll just turn it over to Chris.
Well, good morning. I love you, brother. Let me do this real quick because I like when Marty talks a lot, because sometimes I'm a little still wacky because of my ankle, but it's doing a little better, a little sore. I want to wish some happy birthdays today. Spencer Carter, happy birthday. Angela Kiagamba, happy birthday. Surus Pandit, happy birthday. Karen Stahl, happy birthday. Tammy Boyer, happy birthday. Greg Bersano, happy birthday. Angelise Mercedes Carranza, happy birthday. I love that name. Lonnie Burns and Building, happy birthday to you. I want to shoot out some quick prayers. Never quick, always meaningful. Terry Thompson has been going through a struggle for quite a while now. I asked that you reach out and pray for her. I chatted with her for a second. She was more worried about me. I said, oh, no, I just got a little twisted ankle here. And she was going through some serious stuff. So let's get some prayers out there. Eric Kessler, I have not heard any updates on. I'm hoping you're doing good. Still pray for him. And Robin Noble, man, you guys just got to keep praying for her because there's just a lot of things going on in her life that you guys don't know. We do know. But I'm going to tell you, she needs a lot of prayers. And anyone else out, the Garmos, the Johnsons, the Mafaras, the founders, we're praying for you. Wow, that was a lot of stuff. I will say this, excuse me. I did work for the Japanese for maybe 17 or 18 years. And I will say this about my Japanese supervisors. They were never anyone to throw you under the bus. They always held you high, but they wanted to educate you on everything, which I thought was a great thing. If you didn't understand something, they would pull you aside and they would explain it to you until you got it. And that was a hard thing to come by. With later going full Fords, it was a lot different. It got to be competitive. Hey, and the competitiveness was, if I throw that guy under the bus, I might get promoted. I've never liked that period. The Japanese never did that, and they were always there for us completely. And then they separated. Mazda and Ford were separated, which I'll be honest, it broke my heart because I truly enjoyed working for them. I didn't have to look in the mirror back then. I knew exactly what I was going into. I would say to myself every day, the first week I worked there, I thought, man, do I really want to do this the rest of my life? It was hot. It was back in 87. It was the hottest summer we've ever had, over 100 degrees, and it was miserable. You sweated literally. You had Kevlar gloves on, hard hat, safety glasses, steel toe boots, and it was miserable. I mean, honest to God, there was people puking all over the place because at that time we only had a couple fans in the entire shop, one drinking fountain, and that's the truth. I'm not lying. Maybe two drinking fountains, and I'm not lying, but people were puking everywhere. And I'm like, I'm welding. I was a spot welder to start, and I'm looking at people getting sick, getting burned, getting sliced. It wasn't real pretty. And I don't even know where I'm going with this story. I'm just saying there's a lot of crappy jobs that we've all done for years. I give God a lot of thanks because he let me survive those 32 years. And I had a lot of cuts, burns, lung issues, breathing in chemicals. That was one thing I didn't care about at that time. The big three, they've gotten a lot better on it, is you were breathing in a lot of stuff that you shouldn't be breathing in. Sad story. One of the things I did jump on in my career was safety and health. I didn't listen, I'm going to be straight up. I didn't support laziness. I supported people that really wanted to work and do a great job. And I had both. And the reason I didn't support laziness is because that wasn't in my bloodline, especially from my mom and dad. Never be lazy. If you want something, you will work hard enough in a legal, legitimate way and get what you need. That's how I was raised. If I remember when I first got my job, and that was back in 1987, and we had vacation days, literally. And my parents, what the heck's a vacation? Paid vacation day. And I remember sleeping and my mom coming in. If we didn't wake up, we were either poured ice water in our head or the alarm clock, that big was set right on your head until you woke up. And I remember my mom coming and said, "What are you doing? You're going to be late for work." "No, I got a paid vacation." "What do you mean you got a paid vacation?" "Yeah, they pay me to go out and have fun." She goes, "No, that can't be right." They didn't believe it because they owned their own business their whole life. And they just thought that was the funniest thing in the world. And then I weighed in what I had and what my parents had. They worked like dogs 7 days a week, literally around the clock, to keep their businesses going. to fill in for people that they hired and they just decided to quit. They had to go. They had to go fight, fill, and do whatever it took. But and then I looked what I had. I just had to go into work, weld some things up, hit some buttons, do some crazy things, and I get to go home and I forgot about it. That was the downfall when I start weighing it out. If I want to own a business, you have to worry about it constantly. All right, constantly. You got to worry about the payroll, people not showing up, people getting hurt, all kind of crazy things. And then I start thinking, do I really want a business? But I always wanted to be a business owner. I tried multiple things, starting small businesses up, and I just never got there. Some didn't work out, but I just didn't want to give up on that dream. And sometimes, listen, sometimes yes, Red's coming on, Marty. Sometimes, I got to look at the time, a dream will crush you. And let me explain why. Every one of us here who's listening, wherever you are, you have a dream of something that you wanted to do, whether it was start a restaurant, start a business in general. And then you realize at that point, at some point, man, there's no way I'd be able to do this. And what happens? It's a crushing feeling. A lot of people go out there and start a business and it doesn't work. It's another crushing feeling. The whole point is you got to keep trying. When I seen this company we're in now, and I thought I can own a business, and really the only responsibility I would have when we started was, you got to pay your taxes. I didn't have to worry about rent. I didn't have to worry about electricity bills. I didn't have to worry about people that were getting sick or got hurt or injured. It was like, wow. We say business in a box. I say business of the future. Not having to worry about things and have a pretty successful business is just a plus to me, because I watched it my whole life with my parents and my brother. Okay. It was a tough life. They did good, but it was still a tough life because they were always going. With this company, what I first loved about it was time and freedom. I spent many hours of working like most of you did. Never had that freedom. I never had that time. Yep, I made money, but it wasn't good enough. See, a full life should be, you can work a little bit, you can enjoy a little bit, spend time with your family a little bit, but sometimes jobs take us over and we don't get that opportunity. Literally. Ash Mafara, this is what he does daily because he loves it and he believes in it. I probably would have went crazy. I think I've said that a million times. I am so appreciative of what he's doing for all of us. It's not for himself. I'll say that again. Okay. And it's just a pretty, it's an amazing thing to be in. I ask myself every day, how did I get so lucky? And I have other people, lucky. Yeah, I'm lucky. I do a little bit each day to bring people into this, to uplift people. And I think about my Japanese trainers who did everything possible to make sure that I was educated and knew exactly what I was doing to put out a really good car. They gave me a lot of expertise in the people department. Where they would say, not everyone's different. You're going to have different situations with different people. And I loved it. I really did love it. When we switched to go 100% forward, I'm not going to lie, and I'm not bad mouthing anyone, but it just wasn't fun anymore because it turned into that competitiveness of who can throw the first person under the bus and move up as fast as they can. Or it didn't matter if you knew something as far as a team leader. If everyone liked you, they were going to vote you in as a team leader, even if you had no skills. It took a Japanese worker 25 years to become a team leader because they had to know about everything. In America, in my company, you can just be liked and people would vote you in even though you had no skills. Pretty wild. So I don't even know where I'm going with this today. I'm a little wacky from Tylenol Extra Strength, but I know that Ash Mafar is working his brains off right now. We did have actually, let's say this: three of us had an amazing conversation last night when this election was going on, and I'm going to say this, okay? I will never tell you who I supported because I didn't even vote. True story. I couldn't make it there because of my ankle, but it's time that this world moves on and starts coming together. I believe ONPASSIVE is going to be one of the key resources and tools that brings this world together. And I want you to hold on to that. All right. Let everything go that you were mad about or don't like. Maybe your person won or they didn't win. Let it go. Move forward, because the power is in the people. The power is in we make the changes. The power is live your life the best you can. And in this company, you'll be able to live it the best you can. Marty, back to you.
Anyway, I wanted to say really, really quick before we get off, because I didn't realize, obviously, I talked too much. Tonight at 8, Julie's having a webinar. We're going to post it on the YouTube channels.
Julie Pierre.
Julie Pierre. Yeah, Julie. And also, Marcienne's doing a webinar today at 2, a French webinar. I got to find out what title she wants. That's going to be broadcast also. And a special thank you from Shorty, aka JJ. He loved all the birthday wishes. And a special thanks to Abba, Myra, and Minnow. They did little videos, and I saw as many as I could. But for everybody, thank you. And he was really happy. So, and one last thing, please take the time, even if it's like now, pray for my sister Robin. It's bad enough getting bad news, but to keep getting bad news is it's heart-wrenching. I would say I know how she feels. I don't. It's worse than what I could imagine. So please pray for that situation. And also a couple prayers for the DeGarmos. There's a good chance that we might be moving into trying to, or forced to, going back to court and getting my daughter's other son, because I don't like the situation or what I'm hearing that he's in, and I'm not going to stand for it, and that's not going to be pretty. Anyway, it's hard on the kids. She was here last night, and we got to deal with the children for days afterwards. Anyway, not putting that on you. I'm just saying some prayers for all that, and we will see you. I'm going to go. I'll be on Julie's tonight, and I believe some of the OTech pros are coming. I don't know if Chris is.
Let me see. I might show up.
That would
Depends
be
if the meds are kicked in or not.
then that means we might even have Chris.
Maybe. Wait a minute. Before you go any further, I want to say something real quick.
Right.
My brother Michael Williams, it is on our YouTubes. He did one of the best talks I've ever seen him do, and he talked about that togetherness and what this company's doing. Go check it out. It's on me and Marty's YouTube channels. Watch it. It was very, very good. Actually, I texted him. That was the best speech I've ever heard, Michael. And he talked about bringing people together and moving forward. So thanks, Michael. I appreciate those wonderful words, and go check it out.
Absolutely. It's very good. Very good. In fact, the whole meeting was really good. I like to hear. All right. See you all. As you know, in 4 minutes, Red's going on. We run it right to the edge. Sorry about that. I had a lot on my mind, and getting that off helps. Kind of helps me vent with other crap going on. Anyway, and don't forget, let's pray for each other, and let's get ready for what's coming. I believe it's going to be life-changing. Anyway, see you all.